Several months ago, Bigfoot researcher Tate asked if I wanted to join an invite-only expedition through the wilderness of Six Rivers National Forest, famed site of the Patterson-Gimlin footage. I met up with the group on Monday, August 7th, and we set up camp in a very remote area about 45 minutes north of Highway 96, also known as the Bigfoot Highway in Northern California. This experienced group of researchers and outdoors people included the trip's organizer, Tate, Ron Man Reed of Trailing Giants and his dog Bandit, a very capable squatcher and outdoors person, Terry, and her son Stevie, and last but not least, Bluff Creek project author Robert Lederman and his son Patrick. Our first night was uneventful, but on the second night we definitely had some strange activity. You can read more about this whole 3-day trip on my blog. Just click the link in the video description. For this video, as I got to know the group, I wanted to ask them what drew them to their Bigfoot research and what kind of answers they're hoping to find around this ancient mystery.
I got into it just as a younger kid, kind of just, I liked weird things growing up. I wasn't very popular at all. And so, and being weird, you kind of just gravitate towards weird things. You don't make a lot of friends. And so there was something about the woods I really liked and nature. And then growing up, I had an aunt that, supposedly saw one in Missouri back in the day. And I kind of grew up listening to that story. And I was like, that's really cool. I was like, it fascinated me. And so, as I got older, eventually moved out here to the coast. That's when I actually started going up to Bluff Creek, this area where we're in now. Started taking my research a little more seriously. And then as getting more invested in it, I just kind of want to just have more experiences for myself, not necessarily prove it real to other people, but more myself, and maybe make some content that I like making because I like filmmaking and stuff. So if I can just do what I enjoy, have more experiences, that's all I can ask for, really. So that's kind of like my long-term goal.
I think just a lifelong appreciation for nature as a kid growing up in the southern U.S. woods, like of Tennessee and Kentucky, really just got me into nature. And then I liked adventures and mysteries and things growing up. And I think over time, with the presence of shows like Animal X and Monster Quest, I really just had an interest in that early my adolescent life into Bigfoot and cryptozoology. And from there, I just I started to take more extensive trips into the wilds and get out in the field and look at that, while I was also uncovering an interest in backpacking and outdoor recreation. And what am I looking forward to get out of it? That's hard to say, really. I think I'm attempting to learn more about nature and learn about how everything fits together. I think there's lessons in nature, and I think there's value in nature that we need to showcase. And I think my Bigfoot journey is just following an interest in immersing myself in a world that I want to share with other people.
Okay. So this is Terry.
Hi.
What are some of your favorite spots in the Willow Creek area?
Well, I really enjoy here, Twin Lakes, because it's just gorgeous out here. And my other favorite spot now is the cell site, where it's on its way to Laos. And Laos is okay too. It's just the only thing is the river is so loud at times that you really can't hear anything. And but yeah,
nice and quiet here.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So this place here, and then the cell site, because you still have service to download things if you need to get in touch with people.
Too bad.
That's super cool. there's Tate. He just launched his raft into Twin Lakes. We're at the bigger one.
Lily Pad Lake.
Lily Pad Lake, yes. Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
So much phone batteries.
It's gonna run out. Yeah, as a kid, I was a slight interest. It wasn't until A Legend of Bogey Creek, watching that movie and getting the crap scared out of me. In a drive-in movie theater, we had to walk to the bathroom in the darkness. That was tough. And then I started getting interested, and then it wasn't until college I started being more into the stuff. And then when I started working for parks as a ranger, I started putting together presentations to give to the public. And then I did that for a little bit. And that's how I got hooked into the Bigfoot phenomena itself through the BFRO. Because I did a follow-up report on a sighting report. John Freitas, I got to meet him. He was a member of the BFRO. And he had a ship speaker and call blasting into the park. So I said, you can't do that here because we have endangered animals and they can't. It's a quiet time. And then after that, I went up to the site, found it, took pictures, wrote an article on it, gave it to the BFRO to kind of add to the article they had there. And then I got suckered in as a curator for the BFRO. And then from there, I got involved with expeditions. I should say first I got involved with following up on reports. And I did that for a while, and I got tired of following up on reports. Because some of the reports we would follow up on, and then on the website, there was a class A, B, and C, and somebody would complain, and then it would go to a C. And it's just like, well, what do they know? Complaining about what? So anyhow, after that, I says, I'm tired of that. So then in 2004, I got involved with expeditions. And I kind of assisted on leading the first one. Actually, I was kind of set that one up. I got guest speakers, which was Ron Moorhead and Dave Barry. And I got to hear the Sierra sounds for the first time. Thought they were made up at first. So 9 months later, I experienced something very similar to that and had to reevaluate that. And then we started organizing expeditions and started leading them. And then I also taught a tracking class. So I would introduce that research. And then I got involved with videotaping everything. So with the BFRO, I guess about 2004 is when I got involved with the expeditions. 1999 was when I got involved with the BFRO. And in 2009, I got involved with videotaping actions. They were using the video cameras with night vision to capture Sasquatches if they came in encounter with it. I thought it'd be great to actually film the people doing it so you have more of a documentation of the activity going on. So I did that for a little bit, got a bunch of footage, but then I turned it all back over and never saw it. It disappeared. Because all the equipment was borrowed, and I wasn't bright enough to say maybe I should take all the stuff out and keep it. I didn't have extra cards to do that. So anyhow, I had some great footage, lost. I was more like the guy who would like, oh cool, let's go watch that butterfly a little bit. So I kind of, shiny objects kind of pulled me away pretty quick. But I had a lot of great nature footage.
Cool.
And people doing things. And then I got into interviews and follow-up research. And then about 2010, I got involved with, Stephen Stroyford and, you get 60, it gets like this. Involved with Stephen Stroyford and Ian Carton. And at that time I were making videos and they were posted on the BFRO YouTube channel. And so when I met these guys, because I met Stephen in 2007 definitely, and we talked, and then by 2009 we said let's do this. By 2010 we did, and then we started the Bluff Creek film site project, where I was the videographer and I was to film them doing their research. And I got to a point where I thought it was kind of interesting, and I become a member number 3, and so we worked together, 3 of us, and we went up and down the canyons. We explored the potential film sites, like on the series called the Bluff Creek Film Site Project. I was in Stephen's office, and he's going over his blog he had at the time, and it was like a PowerPoint. And he was very thorough, very informative, and I learned so much. It was like taking a class. I go, wow, this is kind of interesting, but how can they not know where the film site is?
Right.
It was basically came down to the head in 2003 when very few people knew. Some people did know, like the people who told me generally where they thought it kind of was, but we're saying, I think this is the place. It was Bobo and was Cliff. And it wasn't until 2010 and 11 that we proven that they were right and this was the area. So as a film site project, we proved based on facts and documentation that those two guys.
I didn't know it was that recent that it was like that's the film site and it was that established.
Yeah. Some people knew it, like Mike Maraz, who passed away. He was a member of our group. He knew where it was, but we didn't meet him until 2015, where because he was logging in at the film site and he said, "Oh, well, we know this place was here," and so we met with him like the following summer. That was fall, and he became a member and he had a lot of stories, and it was nice meeting people who had an idea. But he had been back for years, and it's all overgrown. But he had been back in the early 90s, so he had an idea of, because in the process of the 70s, it started looking pretty overgrown. 80s, it was even more overgrown. 90s, way overgrown. So add a few more years to that, now you're looking at, what, 2003. And you're like, where is it? It's over there, you know, it's over here somewhere. So that's kind of a Reader's Digest version of the research went into it. And this book here is basically the written form of all the video stuff we did and the research that went into it, and then a little bit of our camera project after the fact. So it's interesting when you decide to go find something and your friends tell you, oh, you're not going to be able to find it. It's like, you don't know where it is. You know, I got to be a spider in advertisement, so I have to sit and hold my books to the cover. And you can see the cover and I'll act like I'm not doing this. So I'm not talking. And I'll repeat the question. So
Okay. So, in your view, I mean, you've been here several times. You're an expert in the Willow Creek area, Bluff Creek area. Aside from Patterson Gimlin, the film, and it being, you know, an area with still having some activity, etc., I'm just wondering what keeps you coming back and what you love about the area.
well, you got a chance to experience a little bit of it. And like right now we're sitting at a place called Twin Lakes. And if you pan that way, you'll see this is one of the lakes. It's beautiful. The breeze is blowing. It's quiet. It's nice. And it's like 1 million acres of Six Rivers National Forest. And it's not a wide piece of wilderness area. I should say government block of land. Six Rivers is relatively narrow. But then you have other, Shasta, and then you have Mendocino farther south. So there are blocks of managements. But this section here, it doesn't get a lot of visitors. The nice thing is, if you're on a one-way road and you have cliff on one side, the last thing you want to do is have to pull over every other, and we'll back up 400 yards to the next turnout. Just because the guy, you can just tell he can't drive, and he's got like a two-wheel drive car. And so I like having less people because you can get away from that. One of the reasons I come here too is it's like a peace. I come here for peace. My battery gets worn down. I have to recharge it. And this place has history. It's had history for a long time. And occasionally people talk about seeing things or hearing things. And every time I go out, I don't really have a Bigfoot encounter. I know people want to hear that, but I do learn something every time I go out, something new. And that's part of it. Like, we need to stop, sit around and listen a little bit more and just get out of our cars. Sometimes it's a chore, to get out, and it's 110 degrees out and air conditioners running. But you get out and you look around. Like, there's a couple of the lakes that when the water starts dropping about September, October, bears frequent it, and they leave awesome bear tracks. So get out of our cars and we walk over there and we look for bear tracks. You're always hoping in the back of your mind that there'd be a Sasquatch track, but you can guarantee a bear track, maybe a mountain lion or some coyote or a fox. And so you go out there, you look, and you get them, and then you get pour awesome tracks, and you hang those on your mirror or whatever, put them on your wall, shellac them. But they're nice. We pour whenever we can, so we actually end up like giving a lot of those away or trading. Like, I have an alligator from Tate, a alligator print, and so I'll put that in a special place. Yeah, I'll move over one of my bear tracks over just a little bit, and I'll put my alligator track there next to my rubber alligator.
Maybe someday there'll be a Bigfoot track there.
Yeah, maybe.
One can hope.
Yeah.
Dare to dream.
Well, you can definitely do that. but you can't get a Bigfoot track if you don't go out.
That's right.
Well,
That's
maybe
right.
on eBay or something.